So you're an experienced professional and you're thinking about a career change. This isn't about starting from scratch. No, it's a completely different ballgame, right? One with much higher stakes and totally new rules. We're about to walk through a modern roadmap for navigating that exact kind of transition. So let's get right into it. This question, this right here is the signal. It's that moment you realize the ladder you've been climbing so diligently has either run out of rungs or, and this is the scary one, you realize it's been leaning against the wrong wall this whole time. It really marks that shift away from just climbing for climbing's sake and towards asking what actually matters to me in my work. And look, if this whole process feels way more complex than when you were first starting out, you're not wrong. It absolutely is fundamentally different. Let's break down exactly why that is. Okay, first, just think about all the external pressures. Early in your career, a misstep is just, a learning experience, but now you're juggling major financial commitments, an identity you've spent years building, and a reputation you've worked so hard for. The stakes are they're so much higher. But at the very same time, there's this powerful internal shift happening. The things that really drove you a decade ago, they might not be the same things that energize you today. You might be craving work that feels more meaningful, or maybe you just need more flexibility, a healthier pace, or honestly, a brand new mountain to climb. It's this combination of really high stakes and brand new priorities that makes the whole thing feel so daunting. So here's the most crucial point I want you to take away from this. Your value hasn't disappeared. Not at all. Your skills are sharp, your experience is massive. The problem isn't your capability. The real challenge is translation. How do you take everything you've built and make it sound relevant and compelling for where you want to go next? That's the whole game. Okay, so we've talked about the why. Now let's dive into the how. Look, this isn't about finding more motivation. You've already got that. That's why you're here. This is about orientation. It's about getting a clear map for a brand new landscape. The first impulse for almost everyone is to jump into action, right? Let's polish the resume, hit the job boards. But the most critical first step you can take is to just pause. Before you do anything external, you have to get crystal clear on the internal stuff. What are you trying to move away from? And even more importantly, what are you trying to move towards? Without that clarity, you just risk defaulting into a familiar-looking role that doesn't actually fix the underlying problem. And now it's time for a little reality check. The world of hiring has changed. I mean, dramatically. If it's been even just a few years since your last job search, the old playbook, it's just not going to work anymore. The entire hiring landscape has been transformed. Your resume, it's now being read by software, an applicant tracking system or ATS, long before human ever lays eyes on it. Recruiters basically live on LinkedIn, and video interviews are totally standard now. And the focus has shifted from having a perfect history to telling a compelling story about your adaptability. This new environment, it just demands a whole new approach. So here it is, your roadmap. It's 3 simple, straightforward steps. First, find that internal clarity we talked about. Second, you've got to modernize your tools. This means updating your resume for that ATS software and practicing for video interviews. And by the way, new AI tools can help you do this incredibly fast now. And third, re-engage your network. But, and this is key, with a very specific strategy in mind. This right here is the core of the modern job search. I know, applying online feels productive, but the real momentum, the real traction comes from conversations. Your network is your single most valuable asset, not to ask for jobs, but to gather intelligence. And these are the kinds of questions that get you that intelligence. So you're not asking, hey, do you have a job for me? You're asking for perspective. You're learning about the current landscape, you're making people aware that you're exploring, and you're getting valuable introductions, all without putting anyone on the spot. It's just a much smarter and way more effective approach. All right, so we have our clarity, we have a plan for connection. The final piece of this puzzle is communication. It's time to translate your incredible experience so that it speaks to your future, not just your past. This is such a powerful shift in mindset, seriously. Don't just list what you were responsible for, show the results, the outcomes you actually achieved. Drop all that insider jargon that only people at your old company would get, and just use clear business language. And most importantly, stop being a historian of your career. You need to connect every single past experience to the future value you can create for a new employer. Let's make this super concrete. Take a specialized industry like aviation. You might think, well, I need to be a pilot. But look at these roles. These are all universal business functions. The core skills, things like structured thinking, financial accountability, risk management, those are in high demand everywhere. Your expertise isn't limited to just one industry. It is so much more transferable than you probably realize. So the real key takeaway here is this. A career change at this stage is not about starting over. It's about being more deliberate, more strategic with the incredible experience you already have. Your leadership, your perspective, those are your greatest assets. The entire challenge is simply making them visible and making them relevant for whatever's next. The roadmap is right here. The tools are ready to go. So now the only question left to answer is yours. What new direction do you want to explore?